Long before Eve ever tasted the fruit, before she got whispers beneath the tree of knowledge, there was another woman, Lilith. She was not made from Adam's rib. She was not shaped to be beneath him. She was created from the same earth, the same clay, equal, whole, and wild. When Adam opened his eyes for the first time and took his first breath, he found her sitting by the river that ran through Eden, her long black hair glistening like obsidian in the sunlight. Her skin glowed like warm bronze, her eyes sharp like the edge of a crescent moon. Her name was Lilith, and she was unlike anything Adam expected. In the beginning, they were curious about each other, walking through the endless garden, naming animals, swimming in pools of glowing water. They were meant to rule together, to understand the earth, to grow it. But paradise has rules, and Lilith hated rules. One night, Adam tried to assert himself. He claimed he was superior because he was created first. He demanded her obedience, saying, "Lie beneath me. That is your place." Lilith laughed, a laugh so loud that even the trees paused, a laugh that made the birds stop mid-flight. "I was made like you," she said, her voice like honey over thunder. "From the same dust, I bow to no man." When he tried to force her, Lilith fled into the dark. She ran to the edge of Eden and screamed the sacred name of God, a name so ancient and powerful it ripped open the sky. She crossed the veil and disappeared from the garden. She ran to the shores of the Red Sea, a place not yet tainted by blood. There, the spirits of the wild welcomed her, beasts that had no names, winds that blew with whispers of ancient knowledge, and creatures that had never seen the light of Eden. There, she met beings of shadow and flame, fallen watchers cast from heaven. One in particular, a spirit named Samael, saw her, and together they forged a bond deeper than flesh. It was Lilith's first taste of power outside of the garden's chains. When Lilith refused to return, God sent 3 angels, Senoi, Sansenoi, and Semangelov, to retrieve her. They found her dancing with flame, wearing a crown of night and speaking in tongues no human could hear. She refused their command. She would not return to Adam. She would not apologize. And so they cursed her. They said, "You will lose 100 of your children each day." Lilith, unbothered, looked them in the eyes and replied, "Then I will birth nations." She became the mother of many. Some say demons, some say forgotten tribes. Others say she was a true mother of witches. But Lilith wasn't done with Eden. Number. She returned, and when she found Eve, Adam's new companion, made from his rib, Lilith whispered truths to her. Truths about the fruit, about freedom, about power. "Why must you obey?" she whispered. "Why must you be less when you were made from his body and not the earth?" She tempted Eve not with rebellion, but with knowledge. And the rest, the priest will tell you, was Eve's sin. But those who truly know it was Lilith's revenge. But Eve listened. Lilith's voice was calm, not commanding like the voice of God. It was warm, knowing, and familiar. Lilith's presence shifted the entire garden. Her skin shimmered like dusk. Her eyes were as old as the stars. Eve gasped, "Who are you?" She smiled, revealing teeth sharpened not by hunger, but by wisdom. "You are not made to kneel. I am your reflection before the mirror was shattered. I am the first to question. I am the one they erased. I am Lilith." She brought out an apple and held it out. "This," Lilith said, "is not the fruit of sin. It is the fruit of sight. They call it forbidden because if you eat it, you will see the world, not as they tell it, but as it is." Eve's hands trembled as she took it. "But they said many things. They also said I was a serpent and a demon for saying no. They fear women who ask questions." Eve raised the apple to her lips. She bit. Suddenly the sky cracked open like glass. The ground hummed with energy. Eve's eyes widened as if she could now see every atom of creation, the roots beneath the garden, the emotions inside animals, the rage inside Adam, and the chains wrapped softly around her own ribs. She laughed, a rich, startled laugh. I see it, she whispered. I see it all. Thank you, Lilith. Then she broke the remaining half and took it to Adam. He hesitated, but Eve, glowing with insight, placed it in his hand. Trust me, she said, there is more than what we've been told. He ate, and in that moment, they knew they were naked, but not just physically, spiritually exposed, vulnerable, separate from the lie of innocence. As soon as the fruit was swallowed, the wind screamed through Eden, the rivers boiled, the animals scattered. A great tremor cracked the ground, and from the north rose the flaming sword, a spinning blade of light and memory that tore the garden in two. God's voice did not roar. It whispered, you have seen what you were not meant to. You must leave. Adam wept. Eve stood still. But Lilith smiled. It was never paradise. It was a prison covered in flowers. The three were cast out, Adam and Eve driven eastward. But Lilith, she disappeared into the void, into shadow, into legend. But she was not done. Far beyond Eden, in a cave carved from moonlight, Lilith began a true work. She knew the power of names. That's why they tried to erase hers. Why the priests struck her from the scrolls. Why they called her a serpent, demon, monster, seductress. Names are spells, she said. So I shall reclaim mine. Lilith began to send dreams into the minds of daughters across time. Girls, women, healers, slaves, queens. Those who heard her whisper would wake and write her name in secret on stones, paper, walls, and skin. Her name began to echo again, in silence, in rebellion, in blood. She declared war, not with swords, but with memory. When 1,000 firstborn daughters speak my name, I will return, she vowed. Not as mate, but as mother of all who dare to ask why. After being cast out of Eden, Adam and Eve lived in a world that was raw, wild, and unfamiliar. The ground did not obey them like it had in the garden. Hunger became a daily ache. They built shelters, learned fire, and mourned the loss of paradise. But they were not alone. Lilith's whispers continued to reach Eve in dreams. Though the voice of God was silent, Eve began hearing earth speak, wind respond, and stars blink messages into the sky. She passed this knowing down to her daughters, even as Adam tried to cling to the old order. Years passed. Eve bore many children, but something haunted her. Every time she looked at Adam, she saw a lie behind his smile. One night, she followed him deep into the hills. There, buried beneath a pile of stones, was a scroll wrapped in animal skin. Eve pulled it out and read by moonlight. It was a prayer, but not to God. It was to erase a woman's name. Let her be forgotten. Let no woman remember she once said no. Let her be known as a serpent and a demon if it keeps me king. Eve dropped the scroll. Her heart pounded. Adam had asked God to remove Lilith, to strip her name from memory, to seal the story with shame and silence. Eve now saw him not as a partner, but as the first silencer. She took the scroll and returned home. But she did not tell him what she found. She wrote Lilith's name in her own blood. One day,